Hey, what's up everybody? Jack here with devslopes.com. Welcome back to our API course, and we're in the process of spinning up our DigitalOcean droplet and getting it configured. We've already gotten it configured for the most part. We actually have our node project up and running, and I just rebooted the server in the last video. So we're going to log back in, make sure we're still good and our process is running. So let's go ahead and keep going. So I'm going to log back in. Alright, and then I'm going to go back to being the API user. Alright, and let's check PM2 and make sure we're still good to go there. And we are. So we've got our application here running. It's online. It's been up for 23 minutes, so we're in good shape. Now then, so we've got PM2 taking care of the node process. We've got Mongo running. I'm going to lock the firewall back down again. And I'm going to get back to my normal user, and I'm going to type sudo ufw enable. If you'll remember, I disabled it temporarily while we checked our API, and everything's working. Now, we're not going to access our API directly. We're going to set up Nginx to be a go-between between connections coming in and our API server. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. First thing we've got to do is install Nginx. The way we do that is we just type sudo apt-get install and then Nginx, N-G-I-N-X. And it's going to download Nginx and install it and get everything going for us. Alright, so we are up and running, or we got it installed. So now then we need to edit our configuration files. So let's look at we're looking at our folder etc nginx sites available default, and we've got to configure this. So the way we do that is we come down here, and this is our default. This first block here is our default configuration. And let me just look through here and see what all we've got. So for server name here, we need to change that. And we need to make that just jackd942.com. Alright, and then this location / here, that's going to be the default, or like the main root folder. I'm going to add another one here. We're going to say location /API. And then I'm going to come down here and close it off. Okay. Now then, the way we set this up to work with Node is I need to add some things in here. So I'm going to add proxy pass, proxy underscore pass, and then http ://localhost 3005. Does that sound familiar? Well, it should, because that's what our Node application is running on. So basically, when we come in to our server on port 80, Nginx is going to take that request, and it's going to look through here, and if it's going to /API, then it's going to execute, it's going to redirect according to what's in here. And so this is a proxy server, and it's going to pass traffic coming in here to localhost on port 3005, which is what we want it to do. So then we want to say proxy underscore http underscore version 1.1. And you can pretty much, if you get this DigitalOcean article pulled up, you can pretty much copy these directives in there. proxy set header, upgrade, $HTTP upgrade. It's not necessarily not necessary to understand all of these, in great detail. I mean, it lays it out here for you. The main things you need to understand is that we're looking specifically for /API. Anything coming in on port 80 or 443 for that matter to /API is going to get rerouted by this proxy line right here. And that's going to send it to our node process. And you could see down here, we could add other node instances or whatever and give them a different route here to take. And it would, Nginx would send them to whichever process you line up. So with that being done, let's go ahead and save this. And we can make sure we don't have any errors. Says that the syntax is okay, test is successful. So then we can just say sudo system control restart Nginx. All right. Now, we've got the firewall locked down, but we want to allow anything coming into Nginx access. So to do that, we're just going to say sudo ufw allow and then Nginx full. Okay, and then if we do if we do sudo ufw status, you see here we've got a rule now for Nginx full. So anything coming into Nginx, it's going to allow in. So that's cool. We're doing really good here. So let's keep going. Okay, so we've got Nginx up and running. We should be able to get through it through the firewall to Nginx. So we need to test out our API, but there's something we need to do first. So I'm going to go back to our project here. And I use Vim. Vim is just a text editor that you can use in the console. There's another one called Nano that may be a little bit easier if you want to use it. It really doesn't matter. I just prefer Vim because I've used it for years. But we need to modify some code here. And if you'll remember, we need to edit index.js. If you'll remember, we set our route up to be /v1. Well, now that we set Nginx up, we need it to be /API/v1. So I need to add that right here and save it. And then also, we need to go into our controller and I believe that, yeah, right here. So on the main route where we get all food trucks, we threw in the authentication middleware here. Well, for just the time being anyway, I want to take that out because I want to be able to reach that to get all the food trucks without having to authenticate. So basically, I just want to authenticate if I'm going to post something. So food truck by ID looks good. Food truck add, we need to add authenticate in there. Okay. Delete, we want to add authenticate in there. Let's see what else we've got here. We want to authenticate. We've got add a review. We want to authenticate there. And to get reviews, we do not. So I believe that's all we've got. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to change directory back to our main project folder. Now, if you'll remember the way this is set up, it compiles from source to dist. So we need to run npm run build, and that's going to compile everything now that we've made some changes. And then I need to run pm2 stop dist, and you see here it stopped. And you can either specify dist or you can specify this ID right here, which is 0. And then once I stop it, I need to start it again. Alright, so we're back up and running. And now we should be able to test with Postman. Now we've already added one. I'm not going to add another one. But we're just going to get all the food trucks. So we'll just say http://jackd942.com/API/v1/food truck. I can't remember if it's truck or truck. I think it's trucks. So let's try that. Hit send. And that's not it. Let me try food truck. And there we go. So now we're going to /API/v1. We no longer have to put the port in here because we're going through a proxy. So we're just using port 80, which is the default web port. And we're going to API/v1/food truck. And we get our list of food trucks here. Now, if we do food truck add, actually, if we come back over here to this post request we did earlier, and just take out the 3005 and add our API in there. If I hit send, you see now we get a 401 unauthorized. So we lock down our add route. So our read routes are open, our add routes, anything that posts data or deletes it, you've got to be authenticated in order to do it. So we're good to go. Let's keep rolling. The next thing we're going to do real quick, just going to minimize Postman. The next thing we're going to do real quick, and I'm going to be honest, I've never done this. I have installed a lot of SSL certificates, but the ones I've always installed have been pretty costly. You had to spend, usually over $100 on an SSL certificate to lock down your domain. And that's the way I've traditionally done it. But apparently there is a new certificate authority called Let's Encrypt. And they provide, it's an easy way to obtain free TLS SSL certificates. And this is all right here in this DigitalOcean how to set up Node for production document. And so we're going to walk through this and just give it a shot. This is new to me and it'll be new to you, and we'll get it set up and going. So it looks like the first thing we need to do is install a sudo or a package. So let me get back to my regular user. So we're just going to say sudo apt-get install let's encrypt. I'm going to hit a Y there. It's going to go through here and install it. Alright, so it's installed. So we've got the Let's Encrypt client now on our server. So it says here Nginx is already running on port 80, but Let's Encrypt client needs to use that port. So we need to kill Nginx temporarily. So we're just going to say sudo system control stop Nginx. Okay. And then continuing on here, it says we need to run it with the standalone plugin. So we're just going to say sudo let's encrypt And we're going to do cert only and then dash standalone. All right, email address used for urgent notices and lost key recovery. All right, so I disabled the firewall. We were having I don't know if it needed through the firewall somehow and it wasn't making it through there. Probably because now that I think about it, we just enabled Engine X. So port 80 probably wasn't open unless Engine X is running. So I disabled the firewall and reran it, and it looks like we're making it through here. So I'm going to hit agree to this. Enter the domain names, comma or separated. And we're just going to do jackd942.com. And I'm going to hit OK. All right, so it says if you lose your account credentials, you can recover through the email sent to jackd942@gmail.com, and our certificate and chain have been saved. So cool. Now, if you'll notice, our certificate, and they say down here in the documentation that Let's Encrypt certificates expire in 90 days. And they say it's deliberate because it's intended to minimize the amount of time that a compromised certificate can exist in the wild. Now, the client can automatically renew the certificate, but in the meantime, you'll have to repeat the certificate retrieval process or schedule a script. And it's got the details. There's another article here on the details of automating that. So we'll probably want to go ahead and do that. We're not going to do it right this minute. So the next thing we've got to do is we've got to configure Nginx to use HTTPS. So we need to go back to our configuration file here. Okay. And then we need to come down to our server here. And right below this line, we need to add return 301 https $/$host $request _URI and end that. Now we need another server block. So after this, we need to close that. And then we need another server block here. And we'll just say all right, so we'll just say proxy request on the local node app. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these lines here. We don't need that. All right, so let's start right there. And we're going to say server and open a block here. And then we need listen 443. And then we need our server name here. All right, so we got our server name and our domain name. And then we need add something here. We need to say SSL on. And I'm going to go ahead and put their comments in they've got here. Use certificate and key provided by Let's Encrypt. So we need to say SSL underscore certificate etc Let's Encrypt /live jackd942.com /fullchain.pim. All right. So continuing on. So we're just copying directly from what DigitalOcean has got for us here. And I'm going to copy this line right here. Come back here and paste that in. And I've got too many quotes over here. So I need to get rid of one of them. All right. So now I'm going to, we just need to set up this /API location. So it looks like we need to leave what we've got in there. We just need to add some things above it. So we need to say proxy set header x-real-ip $remote_ADR. We need to say proxy set header x-forwarded for proxy add x forward for, and then proxy set header x-engine x-proxy to true. And then we've got our proxy pass to HTTP localhost :3005. We've got that one. We need proxy SSL session reuse off. And it looks like we need to get rid of these here too. So let's come back over here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these lines. All right. So let's come back over here and add a new line. So here we need, so we got reuse off. All right. So I think that's all we've got. That's all I see anyway. And then we close that block off right there. So unless I've done something wrong, I believe we should have it all set up now. Sorry if that was a little brutal setting through all that, because I know that was a lot of typing and I've never done this before. I just want to try it out. And this will be a really cool way to get your server an SSL certificate for free. So let's check the syntax. Says that we're okay. So there's no errors, so let's start it. So we just started Nginx. So let's see what we get if we just go to jackd942.com. We should get a... Oh no, we're using SSL. Okay. So now then, we just went to here and we've got our default page up and running. And you can see here we've got a lock. So our certificate, let's look at it. You see here we can view the details about it. This is really cool. I don't think I've ever spent less than $100 for an SSL certificate. And we just did this right here completely free and right on the fly. It's very easy. So we are good to go. We are up and running. If you go to port 80, it redirects you to the SSL to port 443. So let's just pull up Postman again. Wow. Let me shrink this down here. And let's just see if we're still... Actually, we need to use HTTPS now. Unauthorized. So our API is running on HTTPS now. And if we just do food truck, oh, that's a post. We need to do this GET request here. Add the S on there. Food truck. And there we go. So now then, our API is up and running on a DigitalOcean droplet. We've got Node installed. We've got Mongo installed. We've got the server locked down. The firewall's turned on. The only traffic coming through is SSH and anything working with Nginx. We've got Nginx set up. It's acting as a proxy between outside traffic and our Node application. We installed an SSL certificate, which is extremely cool. So now we can use HTTPS with our iOS apps or whatever and not have to disable app transport security. Very cool stuff. All right, guys and gals. So that was good. That was a good deal. We got everything up and running as expected. We got our own domain set up. The only thing we've got left to do now is build some client apps. And we're going to be doing that here very shortly and recording those and getting those put up as well. So the next thing we'll be doing is we're going to work on an iOS app, and then Johnny B, one of my teammates, is going to build an Android app for this API. So we'll get to that here shortly. Come back and see me in the next one.